again, joining us is the lovely Miss Toyin. She is a seasoned life coach and has been doing it, helping people for the past 30 years. Tell us a bit more about your journey and how you came to write this book that is a hit. If you haven't gotten the book, guys, please get this book.
Okay, my name is Toyin Tope-Adedipe. I'm a mental wellness coach. I didn't start out as a mental wellness coach. I had been in the corporate establishment for over 2 decades before I retired, I would say. So retired but not tired. And I have always loved to write. So I just went back to my old love or past life, like some of my former colleagues love to say. And I took up some trainings in mental wellness because I've always had a flair for it, aside from the main issue that really now made me to sit up and say, yes, you need to help others also in their mental wellness journeys. So here I am in mental wellness, and I wrote a book, Let's Share Coffee, Mental Wellness for the Information Age, which I think has been helping a lot of people in diverse ways. So that's just about me in a
Wow,
nutshell.
it's amazing because when I met you, you are talking about this book and how it has impacted people's lives. Every single day, you keep sharing snippets and helping people to really get back on track. So today, you'll be sharing about habits. How do you think habits contribute to someone's mental wellness, and how does it shape overall well-being?
Habits shape the rhythm of our lives. We have the good, we have the bad. I mean, they influence how
Mhm.
we think, how we feel, how we relate to other people. They influence how we show up generally, how we show up each day,
Yeah.
you know. So the small choices that we repeat, like sleeping well, moving our bodies, pausing to breathe, they are all these build the foundation of our well-being. They are little habits, but they help our well-being, both general well-being, not only mental wellness, but holistic well-being, your physical, your emotional, your mental well-being. So if you want a lasting change, start small. You can't do you can't just wake up today and say, oh, I will stop smoking, just like that. It really can't work. Some of us can do it because I know I decided sometime back that I was never going to take Coca-Cola again. Not for any serious reason. I just decided because I was, and I think I will still say I am an addict to Coca-Cola, but I was a very serious addict. Even while pregnant, my colleagues will say, no, 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 Toyin, what you are doing to your baby, we don't care about you. What you are doing to your baby is unfair. Stop this, your Coke drinking. But I'll tell you, once I stepped into my office, into my branch, then when I was pregnant with my first child, once I stepped into my branch, my security man in my branch knows that immediately I park my car and I enter that branch, a bottle of Coke must land on my desk. So it doesn't fail. It would have put it in the freezer to chill. So you see, but it just occurred to me several years down the line that I think enough is enough. You need to stop this habit. And I was able to stop cold turkey. But some people cannot do that. It requires a lot of discipline. You just know, you get to a stage in life and you say, no, I don't want to do this. But there are some habits, and I please don't think that because I said I stopped drinking Coke. I used to drink 6, 8, 10 bottles in a day. But I started reducing the number of bottles I drank in a day. It was a steady
Mhm.
improvement. Same thing applies to habit. Stopping cold turkey is like you are
Mhm.
fooling yourself. You will definitely return to it. So you try to stop gradually, but just be very disciplined, which had helped me. A lot of my friends and family members say they cannot believe I would ever stop Coca-Cola because they believe that Coke should give me shares in Coca-Cola company for the number of bottles I
Yeah.
have taken. That if I'm the only customer, they will still make profit. That's what people, my colleagues, friends, and family say. But see me today, I'm not denouncing Coca-Cola. I'm just saying that I have stopped my bad habit of over consumption of Coca-Cola.
Wow.
Same way people stop
Mhm.
smoking and stop other habits that does not serve them. You know, we say drop or ditch all activities that no longer serve your purpose. And that is it. Be intentional about your
Wow, that
habits.
is really so powerful. I especially love that part where you say that you just start small. And in your story, you did not start by ditching it completely in one day, but small gradual steps. So if someone is out there listening, they can overcome whatever habit it is that they are struggling with. So there are positive habits and there are negative habits. How can an individual prioritize building the positive and taking down the negative ones?
Mhm. Yeah, one common habit that I have seen is self-neglect. Self-neglect, which you disguise as being busy. You know, people say, I have too many things to do, I'm overwhelmed with work, and so they neglect themselves. There's no way you can enjoy your life if you don't embrace self-compassion, if you don't choose yourself, if you don't make sure that the habits you exhibit serve your purpose. You cannot just keep on and on in chronic issues like chronic comparison, which is a negative thing to do. You compare yourself to the real instead of to the real things that are happening. You would rather compare yourself to what you watch on movies than to face real life as it is. So comparing yourself to others only cause you more harm than good. And I see that as self-neglect. And then we have procrastination. Some people procrastinate. You know, procrastination stops
Mhm.
growth. You can't decide what you want to do. You all say, I need to do this. Some people go to the level of having a to do list, but the to-do list is just there as a list, which they will write and just keep aside. Maybe there's somebody who is coming to inspect their desk, or somebody who is going to check on their lives. It's your life. We don't have a monitor as we used to have in primary, secondary school days, who will be going around to check that you have completed your assignment or you are listening in class. So your to-do list is your to-do list. If you put it under the desk or under the bushel, it's yours. It's your life. It's how you want to live it. So you have to have that awareness to make the shift, to make that shift to be better, to leave those bad and pick up the good. And some people here may be saying, but good is subjective. Only if we fool ourselves would we say we don't know what is good from what is
Mm.
bad. So you have to truly be intentional, and you have to stay true to your core values.
Wow. There's something you say about self neglect. And I feel like this is something that everybody uses as an excuse to not show up for themselves, whether they are mothers, people that are in the office, people that, have children, people building business, entrepreneurs. Everybody wants to use this as an excuse to not take care of themselves. And yet, you must take care of your health, because a healthy body is what's going to propel you to do the things that you are so called busy doing. And also, a beautiful thing you said about procrastination. Sometime back, I had a friend and they had the very same issue that you are trying to describe. But in their case, they would wake up, set an alarm to wake up by 5 a.m., and then they would push the alarm till 5 minutes later. Every time it rings, they just push it 5 minutes later.
I just become what
Exactly. So these are some of the habits that, can be detrimental actually to your progress and growth. What other bad habits have you come across in your work? Can you share some common detrimental habits you've observed and how you help clients identify and address those patterns?
consistent negative self-talk is another one. You don't see the good in anything that you do. You beat yourself up unnecessarily instead of affirming the good in you, talking to yourself positively, encouraging more of positive self-talk than negative self-talk. You want to remain in that pitiable form, looking for somebody to come and save you from where you have
Yeah.
dumped yourself. Because repeatedly going on and on, repeating it, even maybe speaking it out or repeating it in your mind, repeating negative uh, thoughts in your mind, or when you speak it out, things that are negative, when you keep repeating them in your mind or you say them out, they don't help you. They don't help you in any way. And what I tell clients is that they should slow down, tune in to yourself, listen to yourself, listen to yourself. Don't cut yourself off. Do to yourself what you will do to a friend who comes to you with a
Mhm.
problem. Because sometimes we carry the load of others on our heads and we neglect ourselves. If you are able to help a friend, why don't you help yourself? Why don't you embrace self-love? Yes, we
Yeah.
make mistakes, but we don't die in the mistakes. We shouldn't soak ourselves in the mistake. We should embrace our mistakes with the right mindset so that we
Hmm.
can rise, so that we can get out of it. Because if you keep on, I've made a mistake and you just
Hmm.
remain stuck, who will pull you out? Who will pull you out if you now isolate? If you keep to yourself, if you don't speak out, how will people know that you have a
Hmm.
problem? How? So I always tell people, if something is not serving you, if it is no longer serving you, drop it. Drop it. Because sometimes this negative self-talk can result into ill health. It can result into ill health. And people will say, oh, I saw her yesterday. She was okay. But you were
Hmm.
not okay. You had those problems which nobody knew about. And then the following day, maybe you are even gone. The person is dead, or the person is lying down in the hospital helpless because the person has always bottled things up instead of speaking up to get help. And help is available. We have a lot of safe spaces. I tell people that I don't judge. I don't judge. In my space, there is no judgment. You are free to hear your views. You are free to hear your problems because I am ready to listen. If you don't want me to talk, I'll sit with you because that's another way to help people. You don't necessarily have to say anything. Some people, all they need is just to speak. They just want you to listen or to know that somebody is listening. They really do not want you to respond. They just want you to hear them talk. So I invite you to pause, reflect, reflect, and
Wow.
thank
That's
you.
that's really an amazing one, especially the part where you said that people find it easier to love others than to love themselves. That is so true. And they make the excuse that they're being good, you know. So if I let myself go and then I do it for someone else, that makes me a good person, which is not true because you must love others as you love yourself.
Yourself.
And yes, and like you have already said, there are lots of safe spaces. If you're out there struggling and your mind is boggled down, do reach out. It's okay to ask for help. You know, you don't have to do it alone. People are out there ready to help you. So do reach out. So, how would you recommend an individual to identify their personal triggers for bad habits? And what strategies can be used to overcome these triggers?
Start with honesty.
Mhm.
Start with honesty. Know the moment that triggers you straight into the bad habit. Be true to yourself because you are the one trying to break a bad habit. So you have to be honest. Is it boredom? Is it feeling overwhelmed? Is it stress? What are those triggers? What are those triggers?
Yeah.
And most times these triggers, they hide in plain sight. They are there. You can see them. That's why I said start with honesty. Don't let all these habits be masked by other things. Face it squarely. So learn how to journal. Journal these habits. Put them down. Write. That's what I mean by journaling. Write them down. I don't want this habit anymore. Put it down. Putting it down will help you to move, will help you to act, to help you to act as patterns will surface. As you write, just put, you know yourself, you know the habits you are trying to stop, and you know the triggers. Just put them side by side. You can draw a table, you can just write it as you want. Then create space between the trigger and your reaction. The habit, the trigger, the reaction. Then choose different, choose differently. Because that's the process. It is a process which you have to respect. Please know that you are not weak for having these triggers. You are human. If you remember my story about my Coke addiction, my Coca-Cola addiction before it be taken as my Coke being taken as something else, Coca-Cola drink addiction. If you recall that my story. So your having triggers is not weakness. What I love in Coke is that zest, that when you
Mhm.
open, but now is no longer the cork. When you unscrew the cover, that that
Uh-huh.
comes out is just what gives me, that's what gives me the love. That's what expands my love for Coca-Cola. And then the taste, there's no comparison. You see, I still love Coke. Not that I don't love it. If you put all sorts of drinks in on the table for me, and I see a bottle of Coke, I would rather pick the bottle of Coke. I don't care how much cost of the other drinks that you have there, but I would rather go for my bottle of Coke, which is about $1 or
Mhm.
less. So, but you should know that you have the power to respond or react rest in your
Yeah.
hands. The power to respond or to act or to react rest in your hands. So would you rather respond instead of reacting?
Mhm.
that is that
That's
is
that's
it.
really something important to reflect on, because earlier you had also said that we wait, we sit hoping that someone is coming to save us, but no one is coming to save you. It's you who has to discipline yourself to change the habit. So, like you've said right now, the power rests in your hands to choose to follow the trigger or to choose to be a different person and to overcome it. And you don't have to walk the journey alone, like she already said. You can reach out and you'll be helped to overcome whatever it is. And baby steps, one step at a time, one week. Yes, 1 week at a time. Don't take it a whole year at a time. Take it one day at a time
Mhm.
such that you can be able to overcome.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So, what advice would you give to someone struggling to replace a bad habit with a good one? And how can they stay motivated throughout that process?
Again, start
Mhm.
small. Start small. If you are trying to break a bad habit, you just don't
Yeah.
remove it. It's not, you can't, I mean, you just don't remove it and replace it with something. I mean, it's not something that is there for you to just pick from one spot and drop it in another space. And when you stop a bad habit, you have to replace it with a good one. Some people stop a bad habit and replace it with another bad
Mm,
habit. They say, oh, you told me to stop smoking. I'm no longer smoking. I'm vaping now.
yeah.
What is vaping? It's even a higher level of smoking. It's the same danger that you are exposing yourself to and others around you, not just yourself. So I'm not smoking, I'm vaping. You see, it's replacing bad with
Yeah.
bad. So replace, I mean, when you have decided, when you have made up your mind that I don't want to go this route anymore, this is what I will be doing now. Have a
Yeah.
replacement. Replace the bad habit with something that feeds your soul, like swapping late night scrolling on your tab, on your device with journaling
Mm,
or walking. Instead of being stuck scrolling, you can get up and take a walk. You can journal.
mhm.
Because motivation fades. Motivations fade. It fades, but structure remains. So you have to have a structure on how you want to get out of a bad habit. I always say to people, be your greatest cheerleader. No one can cheer you on better than yourself. I can keep cheering you on, but if you are not ready, if you are not willing, you remain at that spot until your mindset, until you experience a mindset
Mhm.
shift. Is experiencing a mindset shift that will help you to make the necessary change that you want to change, that you want to experience. So set reminders, and celebrate all wins, no matter how small. Celebrate all wins, no matter how small. Because if you say, I want to start eating healthy, and you know that for breakfast, instead of reaching for what do you call this, all this sweet, like instead of taking pancakes made out of flour, sugar, and all of that, instead of you reach for a oat snack. If you see that you are able to do that and you did not pang for something sweeter than the oat snack, is a win. You can record it, you can celebrate it, you can call a friend and say, oh, I made it. It's already lunchtime and I've not had anything other than this healthy snack or this healthy food. Or I ate breakfast, I did not jump out of the house without having breakfast. You know, because not having breakfast also is not embracing healthy eating. Because breakfast helps your health.
Mhm.
So we say do not also neglect taking
Mm.
breakfast. But when you see that, like I say, I have stopped taking Coke. But sometimes I've gone 1 year, one whole year without tasting Coke. But sometimes it can happen that I'll, I'll, um, I will have a thirst for Coke. Then I take a bottle and maybe drink half. Sometimes I drink a full bottle. I don't sit back and say, oh, Toyin, you failed. No, it's a sleep in how many years. So I don't sit there and say, oh, I'm punish myself. No, I will treat myself with grace. I treat myself with grace. I won't count it as a fail. It's a sleep, yes. And I know I will get better. That's how we should view it. Don't be too strict with yourself because change doesn't happen in one giant flip. No, it doesn't. It is built in quiet, consistent ways.
Wow. Mhm.
Consistent. That's the message. Be consistent.
Wow. That
Thank
is
you.
really so important and powerful. When you began, you talked about motivation and how sometimes motivation fades. And at the end of it, you just have to go back to that schedule that you set and be consistent. It's not about feeling it. Most times you will not feel like it. You feel like going back to
Yeah.
the habit because that is easier. Your body finds that easier, but you discipline
Easier.
yourself like you said at the beginning, discipline and sticking to what you have set out to do. And it's also beautiful what you said about celebrating yourself, which also ties into the fact that we find it so much more easy to celebrate other people. Oh, congratulations this, oh, happy birthday this, you've achieved this milestone. But when it comes to us, we struggle.
Not to keep quiet.
Absolutely. We're always waiting for someone on the outside to come and celebrate us. And when that doesn't happen, we just think maybe it wasn't worth celebrating, which is wrong. Like you said, we must be our number one cheerleader. That is so amazing. That is so beautiful how you shared it. So, in your own life, how do you incorporate habit forming strategies? And what habits had the most significant impact on your mental wellness and your productivity?
I keep it simple and intentional. Simple and intentional. No rush, no
Mm,
slams. My day starts with
mm,
prayers. every day. I know I have, it's like regimented, as if I'm a uniform officer. I think my having uh, stayed in the boarding house while in high school has really kept me to the time I wake up. I'm a very early riser. So once I get up, instead of moving around aimlessly, I just ensure I get up to pray. Once I'm done with praying, no phone in those first few minutes. Although my Bible is on my phone, so if saying no phone will not be appropriate because I have to open my Bible app on my phone. But every other distraction is off when I'm having my quiet time. So that's how I start my day. And that habit sets my tone for the day. After that, I move. And sometimes I do no screen. You may see me on, but it doesn't mean that I am looking at my phone. I may just sit and just have the phone. Sometimes my phone rings and I just leave it that when the phone rings, I can return the call. If I'm not ready to pick the call, I will not pick it until I feel calm, relaxed enough. So the key is not doing more. It's not about doing more. It's what matters is your
Mm-hmm.
consistency. That's the thing.
Wow. Okay. That's really important, as you also say that when you wake up in the morning, you have quiet time. I really love that because most times people wake up and jump out of bed and rush to the bathroom and they're on their way to work, they're on their way to interacting with people, and before you know it, you're disorganized, you're feeling stressed. So having that quiet time in the morning is so important. So we hope that all the viewers that are watching and listening are going to borrow from that and learn something from your life. And as you've already said, consistency is very important. Don't wait for the motivation to kick in. Just stay consistent towards what you have decided to do in the process of breaking that habit, and you will achieve. So we've come to the end of this, but maybe give a closing remark, a parting shot, and also how they can find your book.
Okay. You can have a daily check-in with
Mhm.
yourself. Kind of you have a tracker for how you are doing because it will help you stay
Mhm.
grounded. It will help you mentally, physically, emotionally. Also, don't forget, Let's Share Coffee, Mental Wellness for the Information Age is your go-to book for mental wellness. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, everybody. And also remember, habits are not just the smoking and the drinking. Today, we dissected habits like negative self talk, procrastination. So if you're out there procrastinating, you're not in the clear, please get the book, please watch the video, and we shall see you in the next one. Bye.